Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it may be in your specific time zone. What's going on? Hope that you're doing well. Today we're going to listen to a little bit of Neil Young. We're going to listen to his track Cortez the Killer. This is off of his album Zuma, which was released in 1975. So, last time we had done a little bit of Neil Young, a little bit of Harvest Moon in celebration of Thanksgiving, and I got a lot of different recommendations in there, and this was one of them. Now, another one was Cinnamon Girl, which I almost chose. However, I don't know, I'm just kind of going off titles right now. Cortez the Killer sounded kind of cool. The title drew me in a little bit, you know what I mean? And Cinnamon Girl sounded like it may have been another nice, romantic, sentimental kind of track akin to Harvest Moon. So I wanted to hear possibly a different side. You know what I mean? Like, Harvest Moon is good. That's a walk down nostalgic and romantic kind of lane. But I wanted to see if maybe there's a difference stylistically here. Now, as I've mentioned before as well, Neil Young, I don't really know much about him. So, you know, we'll take a little dip of our toes into the pool and see what comes out the other side. Hope that you're having a lovely day. Really hope that you're having a great one. Let's go ahead and get into it. This is Cortez the Killer by Neil Young.
for the new world and the palace in the sun. On the shore Montezuma with his coca leaves and pearls. In his halls he often wandered with the secrets of the world. And his subjects gathered round him like the leaves around the tree, in their clothes of many colors for the angry gods to see. And the women all were beautiful, and the men stood straight and strong. He offered life and sacrifice so that others could go on. Hate was just a legend, and war was never known. People worked together, and they lifted many stones, and they carried them to the flatlands, but they died along the way, and they built up with their bare hands what we still can't do today. And I know she's living there, and she loves me to this day. I still can't remember when or how I lost my way. He came dancing across the water, Cortez, Cortez, what a killer.
Okay. Okay. That guitar is enough to make anyone cry. A grown man, a grown woman, a child, your pet dog, your neighbor down the street. That guitar is enough to make anyone within earshot cry. So, I don't know a lot about Neil Young, and by I don't know a lot, I don't know anything. Like, nothing, right? Also ignore the music that just started playing outside. Someone's blasting some music. I can tell you immediately, without, like, knowing anything, I bet you that this song is iconic. I bet you that the guitar playing in this song is iconic because it sounds like it. The actual emotion, the actual feeling from it is the exact kind of feeling personally that wells up within me that I would get listening to someone like Gilmore of Pink Floyd play. They have that same emotional style that just carries so much weight with every single note that is played. With every single moment of the phrasing, it all wells up and builds up. Almost like, you know, like when you're about to cry, that feeling you get like right here, it hits that spot. every single sweep, every single note hits that spot just a little bit more with a little bit of tender touch. Okay? The guitar is out of this world, for lack of a better word. But listen to everything else that's built around it. Primarily, drums and bass. We'll talk about the singing in a little bit, but I want to talk about the drums and bass here. Drumming is relatively simple, not too much going on, yet once again played to the same effect. If I can use them again, Pink Floyd, Nick Mason, it's an emotional kind of style. Ringo Starr of the Beatles, it's a certain kind of emotion and technique. And listen, some people can play the notes, but they can't play the feeling. You know what I mean? I'm not going to mention any bands. But there's some bands in, at the top of the progressive metal mountain that can play all the right notes, but sometimes the feeling escapes them. And I think, I would almost guarantee for most people, we'd rather hear the feeling. We'd rather hear the emotion. And as I always say, the wider your palette, the wider the colors and the variety you have, the greater you can put your strength into displaying that emotion. And I think that this is one of those songs that does that so excellently. The guitar. The drums beautifully just launch and catapults, makes the moments rise. It has a breathing-like motion in the inhales and the exhales of the actual movements in the music. As the music builds up, it feels like we're taking a very deep breath. We hold it in our lungs for just a moment, and then the band allows us to exhale. Breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. I'm sorry. You also have the bass, which is being played by Billy Talbot. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. But Billy, his bass is kind of like doing the same emotional inhale, exhale as the drums are. It's just this beautiful, natural, and organic feeling that's just filled with a certain type of passion and emotion. All of that. Now, let's talk about the singing in here. The singing, I feel, is very sensitive from Mr. Young. His singing feels very sensitive in the way that he explains these events. He explains how, this is apparently talking about Cortez, I don't know the exact places and details, but, he got to South America and saw the natives there and the whole interactions there. Didn't Cortez kill a bunch of the native people there? Anyways, disease was brought and other things like that. I don't exactly think it was a peaceful thing, which is also why it's called Cortez the Killer. And yet at the same time, the music and the music and the singing and the way that it's all delivered is very romanticized. Or maybe it's very sad. Because throughout the song and throughout the lyrics, he's describing the people in a very beautiful and respectful way. It describes the people dressed up so colorfully and so beautifully. And I really, really like the line, let me see if I can find it here really quick, where it says, hate was just a legend, and war was never known. And people worked together and they lifted many stones. They carried them to the flatlands and they died along the way, but they built up with their bare hands what we still can't do today. Okay, this was a peaceful people. Hate was just a legend to them. War was never known. Of course, you get what I'm imagining is a reference to the pyramids that were built when they're talking about lifting many stones and carry them across the flatlands. Many would die along the way and doing the journey, but they built up what couldn't be built today. People still marvel at the pyramids, whether the Egyptian pyramids or the pyramids in South America, and places like that. And it's amazing, right? That's the physical. What's the word? I just had it in my mind. That's the physical. God, I literally just had the word manifestation. The pyramids are like the physical manifestation that he's using as a metaphor for what they were able to build, what they were able to achieve. But it's also because of their unity, because of their love, because of their community that they were able to achieve those things. So I think that that's specifically what he's pinpointing. They were able to achieve those things not just because of their physical attributes and their bare hands and their work ethic or whatever, but specifically going deeper, one level lower into their love for each other, their thoughtfulness, their selflessness, and their sense of community for each other. Isn't that really cool? And let me pull the song back up here really quick, if I can just for a moment. I'm not going to play the whole thing again, but They bring it down low. There's a little bit of a fuzzy, buzzy distortion there that occurs sometimes. That even in the moments of low bring a certain high. You know, like this is a great track. Let me talk about the lyrics here really quick before we finish. He came dancing across the water with his galleons and guns, looking for the new world and that palace in the sun. He's looking for El Dorado, right? On a trail we blaze. Remember that? Remember Chell? On the shore lay Montezuma with his cocoa leaves and pearls. In his halls he often wondered with the secrets of the world. And his subjects gathered around him like the leaves around a tree, in their clothes of many colors for the angry gods to see. And all the women were beautiful, and the men stood straight and strong. They offered life in sacrifice so that others could go on. That's what I mean. Like they had a sense of selflessness to them. They were willing to sacrifice themselves for the greater good, in a sense, or for the community, for the people around them, for those that they love, their family. And then he says near the end, he says, "And I know she's living there, and she loves me to this day. I still can't remember when or how I lost my way." Now, when he says she's living there, he could be talking about a literal woman that maybe he fell in love with and he left to go back to his home country and, you know, came back and forth through further explorations. He could be talking about a literal woman. Or he could be talking about a metaphorical woman. He could be talking about that love that I described before, that unity, that sense of community. He left that there and he wants to come back to it. Something like that. I feel like there's a gold nugget like right here, and I'm striking silver. I feel like I might be close. And of course, and he came dancing across the water. Cortez, Cortez, what a killer. So, yeah, this is a really, really good track. I just want to see if there's any other information, perhaps about this song or any background on it, anything like that that might be of interest to us. It says in a biography of Young, the author asked Neil if his songs were autobiographical. Young replied, "What am I doing writing about Aztecs and Cortez the Killer like I was there wandering around? Because I only read about it in a few books. So a lot of stuff I just made up, it just came to me." So he didn't necessarily have like a historical background on it. It just, you know, was the general story and history of it that kind of influenced his song. I read a book a long time ago. It was called Aztec or Aztecs, I think it was. It was like a historical fiction book. It was a good book, but there were some weird scenes. There was this weird scene when the main character's under the table. Weird stuff. Let me know what you guys thought of the track. Of course, you can let me know in the comments down below. You can follow me on Twitter. You can support the channel on Patreon. Everything from a simple comment to Patreon to just subscribing, anything. It helps out, and I love to hear from you guys and what the music means to you. You can, of course, like I said, let it all down and out below. Hope that you come back tomorrow, but I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your night, and have a great one, guys. I'll see you later.